Hello, my name is Ethan, and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Archnemesis League 3.17. In this episode, I'm going to be going over the Crystallised Omniscience. This item is absolutely insane. It was kind of hard to comprehend. There's so many aspects to it. There's so much cool stuff I want to go over. I have a POB I want to go over as well, and I want to go over the math, the science, and how to actually build this. So let's get it started. The first thing is, most people their first instinct when they see this item is they will think attribute stacking, because modifiers to attributes instead apply to omniscience. So you're stacking omniscience, not attributes. 1% to all elemental resistance per 10 omniscience. Penetrate 1% elemental resistance per 10 omniscience. Attribute requirements can be satisfied by 23% of omniscience. So the entire concept is build defining unique, you build omniscience. By building any attribute, all attributes become omniscience. So it's increased omniscience plus omniscience. There is no more attributes. No more attribute bonuses. No more life. No more damage. No more energy shield, mana, evasion rating. It is all omniscience, and instead of those things, you start getting elemental res and penetrate. So how good is elemental res and penetrate? Well, let's first think about the elemental res. So let's say you get 3,000 omniscience. You're going to get 300 elemental res, and you don't need to build any elemental res in your entire build. And you could even use that new jewel that allows you to delete 76 elemental res and gain the fact that one max res becomes all of your max reses. So if you get 190, they all become 90, so just purity of ice and whatever, and then you have 90 reses. So this combined with that to get all your reses really easily just by getting omniscience, which is just going any attribute. Now the question is, how good is elemental penetration? So instead of trying to do some like on the hand math, I have POB here, and I have pulled up a POB with 3,000 intelligence. Now, this build won't work for this example in the next like with this item, because it requires the intelligence to do the damage. So you're deleting the intelligence because you're going omniscience, and so but just it works because it's elemental, and just understand it for the calculation. So basically, I'll start it off like this. In POB, you can go to calculations, and in here we can actually see our penetration. And so this build has the enemy at 0 effective resistance, and then we have 41 penetration, so that means we have 41 effective negative effective resistance for them. So then our effective DPS is 1.41 because of the resistance, and we have our increased damage, so we get 1.777. So now I want to show you what the difference of making, let's say, 50 elemental penetration is. So if we had, in this case, comparing it back to the item, 500 omniscience. When you pull it up in the POB, you'll see it here. Now we have the 91% penetration from the 41, so 91% negative, 91% elemental res. So we have a 1.91 effective DPS modifier, and it goes to 2.407 from 1.77. So that's a pretty big increase in damage, effectively just by increasing the penetration. But then I'd like to also show you that there's actually, in this build specifically, to show you other things people would think about. What about reducing the enemy's resistance and reducing it with this from the elemental weakness and the frostbite? Let's take a look. What does it say? So you see here, you get, I gotta look at the right one, negative 109 resistance start with a negative 91 on the penetration, so you have negative 200, which makes you have a 3 times DPS modifier, with the increase going to 3.78, so actually you make your penetration more effective with increased damage. It's really cool, actually. It starts to snowball really hard. This build is absolutely insane. This item, so this is just adding curses to your penetration of having 500 omniscience. So then I was like, let's just take this out though for now, and just, well, there's one more thing I can show actually. The curses against Sirus. Sirus has less effect of the curses, which is interesting, and he gets 50 LE res. So when you check it out after, he actually he has positive resistance. So his 50 and your negative 109 enemy resistance, it turns into 14 with the less effect of the curses. And so then with your penetration, minusing 91, you get negative 77. And so you end up with 1.77 effective DPS with the resistance. With your increase, goes to 2.23. So the Sirus makes a big difference on this. But that's because of the curses, not because of the penetration. So this is what I wanted to show you now, is that, so no Sirus, and then Sirus. And so then the difference is, no Sirus, we have our 2.47, which is 91 penetration, negative 91 res, gains 50 res. He's at negative 41. It works perfectly. So you don't have to worry about it being diminishing or anything. So if you were able to get to 250% penetrate elemental res with this item, it truly is just that disgusting. Negative 241 resistance on Sirus effectively. Ignoring the fact that he has 50 res flat, doesn't matter. We just penetrate right through that, and we end up with a 3.41 effective DPS resistance modifier that with the increase goes to 4.297. This is disgusting. And then what happens if you went to 450? So this is 4,500 Omniscience. Just because, let's say this is your build. You're just stacking Omniscience, and you just want to see what you can do. This is your build. Instead of stacking attributes, you stacked Omniscience. It's a new build. Negative 441, and you could have it with a 6.87 DPS modifier in the end with the increase on the 5.41. What the heck is this? So this item is definitely build defining. I would say it's definitely strong enough to be build defining. These are the kind of multipliers you need in a build for DPS. This is disgusting. And then it looks like you could also use your increased damage to further scale the penetration percentage, because that was just the resistance modifier. If you increase the other modifier too, the increased damage, that could also help a lot. And the increased damage would be things like pride, or the helmet that makes nearby enemies take increased physical damage, I believe, stuff like that. So that's kind of a multiplier, but it's additional to each other. Yeah, very cool. Penetration is disgusting. I highly recommend this item. How good is this gonna be? Amazing. Like, I'm telling you, the fact that it works just because it gives you tons of elemental res, so it's gonna work with the new unique jewel that gives you basically the 90 max res by making all of your max reses equal to the highest one. And then it'll also, okay, so a side thought also was about this last mod. So we had a couple breakpoints, 2,500 and 4,500. So let's say you had 2,500 Omniscience. What is 23% of that? 575. So I think you could pretty much wear every single item anyone's ever going to want with 2,500 Omniscience. And then if you do go to the 4,500, I'm pretty sure this allows you to wear any item in the entire game. There's not a single one that you don't have the requirements for then, and that's disgusting. And then, yeah, obviously, 2,500 Omniscience would be 250 all elemental resistance, and 4,500 is 450 all elemental resistance. And so, obviously, I think that you might find a point where you don't need to go past, like, 2,500, for example, and you're probably good, but you can, because the damage is there. But if it's only for damage, it might not be worth it. Because you've given up all the other benefits of the attributes. It's only Omniscience, and the only things you're scaling from Omniscience are these. The penetration would be pure DPS. This is a disgusting Ami. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this taught you something about penetration, about the enemy resistance, about how curses work with sirus resistance and all that. And I hope you guys understand this item better. And I hope you guys are looking forward to this new season as much as I am. If you guys like this video, hey, hit the like button. Let's see if we can get 120 likes. Thank you guys for all the support. I can't do this without you guys, so thank you guys for all the support. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!